Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly he's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.
Okay. I need the price to go up. I can't take this anymore. Every day I'm checking the price and it's dipping. Every day I check the price, bad price. I can't take this anymore, man. I have overinvested by a lot. It is what it is, but I need the price to go up. Can devs do something?
Right, bonjour, good afternoon, good evening. How's everyone going? Hope you enjoyed that video. It wasn't me, but it is one of the classic memes. How's the music to voice ratio? I got up and pulled my headphones out of my computer and I've broken them, which is why I'm slightly late for the stream. So I've got some dodgy headphones on at the moment, and I'm not sure about the audio. Fuck, has it been a week already since last stream? Yeah, mate. Yeah. It's been a big week, according to Barry. Good evening, Touche. Ah, I get your name, I like it. What was the long thread where you should update your weight? Didn't you forget to? In case you're lucky. It's a good effort, mate, but no, I hit my weight goal. That was before Christmas. I did it every fortnight. There's been a bit of mean reversion since Christmas, I'll be honest. It's not been as down only as the market. But it was a good run while it lasted. So yeah, how's everyone's week been? Have you all been bonking the market heavy? Sat here trading every second of every little whipsaw? Are we all ready for the crushing blows of the bear market? Sounds okay. Cool. Thank you. I don't know if it's too low, too high. Just you guys tell me. Because I'm obviously not listening to my own stream. Yeah, how's everyone feeling? Are we back in the bear market? Are we waiting for some new fresh highs? Sounds good. Good evening. Good evening, Richard, my friend. Still got more to lose? Happy days. We return to the casino, we continue gambling. Buy the dip. I'll give you my thoughts. Bulls have been pretty annoying considering it's been up only for a year. Yeah, I mean, let's be blunt, right? Let's really kind of look at things on a high time frame basis. It's been pretty fucking good, really. since the whole FTX crash back here. It's not been bad, has it? I mean, for me personally, like, I got quite lucky with my little short at the high. Well, no, it wasn't the high. That's a fucking larp right there, isn't it? I'm short from like 45.8 or something there, basically, before the breakdown. I'm not sure if that's the exact price, but you get the point. So I'm sat in a BTC short, still in it. Quite comfy. Obviously, doing some Ponzinomic altcoin shills and bags. Some cheeky seed rounds. Which I'd love to see. But this kind of diversifies my exposure to the market. Because from a trading perspective, it's been fucking horrible. And I basically AFK'd from the bottom of the market, whatever it was, at like 2:30. I thought, oh, do you know what? Fuck it. Today's been such a shit day in terms of like trading vol. It's just been down only since I got up at like 5 o'clock. And I was like, ah, fuck this. I'm gonna go pick my daughter up from school. I'm gonna do something nice, go to the pub, and grab a bite to eat. And obviously, what fucking happens afterwards? We get a wonderful rotation. A wonderful rotation. Is anyone balls deep in altcoins right now? Out here practicing your knife catching. Ooh, that's brave. Doing uni stuff for 1 week, I lost a bit of money, to be honest. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's been an incredible market to trade for a few months, so I don't think that we can really complain that, you know, we've had a couple of, I don't know, tough weeks, I suppose, in terms of trading. Like, it's not been just buy any old piece of shit and hope it goes 20-30% in a day, right? It's not been as forgiving as it has been. I think there has been some opportunities, some nice little rotations. Things like Aptos earlier today, I noticed on Spaghetti was just yeeting. There was a round on Bonk the other day, which was okay. I went for whiff this morning and whiffed it. Took one trade, took an L in here somewhere. It wasn't even there, was it? Yeah, it was in here. Down here. Like literally on the 1 minute, trying to catch a rotation. I was super early to it, to be honest. It was in here. That was it. Then literally just got yeeted out down here. And that was it. It's my only trade of the day. Very slow. Say looks like a decent long. Yeah, we'll get on some odds. But Say was one that had a really nice rotation in terms of like this move up here. And it's been pretty much top of Spaghetti like all day. Which, you know, when you get that kind of confluence of it's the strongest coin and it stays the strongest coin. Okay, it's not. It is actually technically second to ordinals. Let's have a look at it, like high time frame. Yeah, I mean this is exactly what we talked about on last stream. So this was either my public one or my Paragon one. But we talked about it essentially going to the range lows and how to play essentially range setups, and one of the sort of not free money setups, but because there's no such thing as like pure free money, right? One of the plus EV setups, we'll put it that way, in trading and, you know, risk on bull market conditions, has been a simple range reclaim on a high beta asset. So if you have got the #1 performing altcoin reclaiming a range on an intraday basis, that's usually a fucking lovely little punt. And you would have seen plenty of people, you know, talk about, you know, move, consolidate, move, and that's just the most common kind of form of it. Of you get a range, you tend to sweep the highs, come back in, sweep the lows, come back in, and then there's the next leg. Basically, fuck both sides, and then continue the high time frame trend. So we could see that playing out on Say. But from a 4-hour perspective, like it doesn't look particularly wonderful right at this moment in time. But it does have that plus benefit of relative strength. I'm actually going to just delete that and just fucking redraw it. It's a bit messy. A little bit messy. But you get the point. So it doesn't look like a decent long to me right at this moment in time, but it's certainly been one of the stronger assets. And if you are quite aggressive, then yeah, you know, trying to play some form of like low time frame market structure and just assume it keeps it on the 15-minute, which is quite aggressive. But you got some confidence the 15-minute RSI to kind of say, well, yeah, this is probably a reasonable pullback, and it's reasonable to anticipate a little bit of rejection at this point. But you know, I'm not super active at the moment in terms of trying to trade these rotations, largely because, like, apart from obviously when I shifted my ass out earlier today, it's been pretty piss poor in terms of beta. Let's go for one we streamed last, which was last Tuesday. Sorry, I might have to bear with my voice a little bit. I feel like I'm losing it. The vast majority have just been hugely negative because Bitcoin's been dying, right? Bitcoin's down 8% since last week. So my short is doing quite nicely, and we'll talk about when I'm going to close that in a bit, or when I would like to close that, put it that way. Not when I necessarily will, what my thought process is around it. And really, like, the outsiders of this, you know, API 3, CTSI, they have been illiquid, I presume DWF related type pumps, and not really anything I particularly want to trade. Manta's a little bit different. Manta does have some merit to it, and you know, there have been some nice low time frame rotations, but it really is just still stuck in that range. What do you think about 4-hour div? Also, location pretty good. We want to get a third one. What do you think? What coins? What are you talking about? Talking about say? Oh, BTC. Oh, that's not particularly terrible. Is at an extreme. It's certainly one of the better 4-hour divs that I've seen recently, though I haven't been specifically trading divs. Let's have a peep. So if I was to examine my own bias, the issue that I've kind of got with like just blind trading that, I suppose what I like is a complement of a level of some description, and it's kind of, there is no level. It's good. Good at trading view too. Did anyone see my tweet the other day, which just had spaghetti like that? Like every spaghetti line was like that. We found parity. We found value for everything. Absolutely nuts. So yeah, normally I want somewhere for that to kind of give me some form of invalidation. I'm not saying it won't play out, not at all. I just prefer it when you've got a couple of complement factors to say that actually, yeah, this should be support. Like, let's pretend it's there. There's support, there's your invalidation, you've got this and the div, and you can play it for, you know, a rotation and maybe look for like these highs and look for a reclaim and etc. etc. I don't really want to catch the bottom for BTC. I think there's a lot of reasons why. I think that, you know, this whole area gets pushed, and my final kind of take profit on the short is down here. It's around 33. Now, from a high time frame perspective, you would have seen everyone kind of doing the classic pivot around 31,500 or 32-ish, so somewhere around here. You know, I might just do a big box just to cover that sort of entire area and cheat a little bit. So that's kind of from a high time frame perspective where we can all expect cut to kind of be bullish above, bearish below, right? Really simple thought process. But to me, if we even start going below this, it's going to be difficult to buy that reclaim. My preferred scenario for being, completely bullish is closing up somewhere down here and basically punishing everyone who's had a free ride, and then just literally getting a V reversal in terms of this is where high time frame demand is, and really seeing something push and change that trend dramatically on BTC. Meant for a day or two of mean reversion would give good beta plays. Yeah, it would, to be fair. If we can at least chill out on BTC, we have to actually consider the fact that it's basically been down only for the best part of a week. And whilst we had a bit of a reasonable day on Friday, that was a bit choppy, despite the fact that on an intraday basis it went up over Friday and Saturday. Like, it's still fucking horrifically choppy. Sorry, just slurp some water. Hopefully help my voice out. But yeah, it could be nice, but the thing for me is just how much of this is kind of above BTC, and obviously since like 2:30 actual NY session today, it's been really good. It's been really, really nice. Kind of a bit gutted I missed this rotation, but it is what it is. You can't take every single trade, and yeah, this distribution in terms of alts massively outperforming BTC is reasonably normal, but it's nice to see that to the upside as opposed to the downside, which is what it was pretty much all morning. So I'm not going to try in at this point in any of these. If we get a nice little pullback across some of them, then maybe. But structurally, I mean, look at Doge. We had that whole move on Doge in terms of the X payments. I'll just take some of this off. Take the RVP off. We'll just do that. Like, broke out of this consolidation, bosh, instantly rejected and straight back to the lows. Risk just doesn't feel like it's on. There's been a few movers on chain with sort of medium to low caps, which is nice to see that there are elements of crypto that still have a bit of risk on. But yeah, like when speculative narratives pump, 10-15% and then just instantly bleed out, not great from a market risk on perspective. I also got stopped on this. So by stopped, I mean I took profit, 100% win rate, blah, blah, blah. I talked about this on stream last week, and basically, for me, the kind of invalidation for the trade thesis was this. I've been in it since, you can say like Friday the 15th of December. So it's been a good month and a bit to try and catch this rotation on ETH. And whilst I'm not technically invalidated, I don't like being short BTC, long ETH. Oh my lord, I've just got a bajillion messages pop up on on YouTube, so I apologize guys, I've only just seen all of these. So yeah, I got out, where did I get out? Somewhere around here, in this, basically. So I round tripped a fair amount of profit, but that's fine. It is what it is. So I'm just going to catch up with chat. My Streamlabs just decided to update like 500 messages at once. I'm about even on it. It works for a short while, but round trips have been occurring. Yeah, I think that's the thing at the moment is like because we are trending down on a kind of short to medium time frame basis, i.e., a few days in a row, it becomes a lot easier if you're doing what I do, which is pretty much long only altcoins, to try and aim for 5 to 10% moves and get round tripped, or just manage to get 1 or 2% out of the market. It's a bit tough. Which exchange do I use to spot? For spot, like which exchange do I trust the most? So I'm partnered with Bybit, and there's a link down in the stream below if you want to sign up there. So full disclosure, if you trade there, I get a small kickback from your trading fees. So, that's that bit out of the way. I trust Bybit to the extent that I put my money on there and I trade there. But you know, as with any exchange, and to be fair, centralized or decentralized, but decentralized are less risky in some respects because they have different risks. But what I do is I keep like 10% of the amount that I want to trade with on there so that I reduce my exchange risk. So if Bybit go down for whatever reason, yeah, okay, I'm pissed off, I've lost, you know, a reasonable sum of money, but it's not more than I would be dramatically upset about losing, if that makes sense. And that's why when you see my P&L cards, I've got 10x leverage. It's not because I'm jacked to the tits on leverage. It's because I'm minimizing my exchange risk. But that's where I trade. So, and I like Bybit. Otherwise I wouldn't partner with them and I wouldn't trade them. When do I think ETH BTC will turn back? I think it's really difficult to kind of just be like, when's this ratio of ETH BTC going to change? And the reason that I don't like it particularly, like it's always been a reasonable proxy for like risk on, risk off with alts, up until kind of here when it just kind of bore no relation and we were having like low caps pumping, mid caps and all sorts of different rotations. But the fact that things like OP have broken down from their ranges, and the fact that things like where is it, LDO? I haven't actually chatted LDO for a little while. Where is it? You know, I've kind of had that full kind of breakout rotation, and now we're back. Like that ETH beta, that ETH risk on trade seems to have died out a little bit. So to sort of think that now we're going to get the ETH rotation while Bitcoin's dying, yeah, ETH BTC might get a bit stronger. But yeah, it's actually not, it's not a bad place to take a punt on LDO if I had some form of signal. Can close my eyes and really squint and pretend that that's a divergence. Blech. Fucking horrible. But that's what I mean, like, let's say there was a nice divergence there, right? And you kind of got that confluence with strong sell-off, decent level, held both times, div into support, and probably a rotation off the back of that. Like, that for me is a lovely play if it was there. Like, I'm just trying to illustrate the point of what we talked about earlier. Oh, F to both sides forces highly leveraged perp traders out. Yeah, exactly. So it's really difficult. Like, I'm not trying to play this. I might go back into ETH trade at some point, but I suspect that this doesn't hold as support for whatever this was. You know, look at all these like attempts to basically break down. If this was inverted, right? If you take your short or long bias away, like you would be like, this is gonna break out. Surely this is gonna break out, even if it just does the bullshit like cup and handle pattern. And this is the breakout. Like that doesn't look particularly wonderful. Oh, but Bybit is for perps? No, Bybit, you can have spot on Bybit. Some trade on ETH BTC from SC. Oh, I haven't seen it, to be honest, mate. Ponky looks good. Ponky? Can you show your object tree? The indicators that I use, this, which is just default AO. RSI, but it's just got some colors on it. That's it. And then I do occasionally use a few other things. Let's see what this does. Yeah, not too bad. I quite like KCBs. I always like KCBs. And I've been using this macro trend scanner, which is just publicly available, whatever. It's just literally a couple of EMAs, so don't think I'm trying to give you some form of like 100% win rate indicator, because I'm absolutely fucking not. No indicator is 100% win rate. But the thing that I like to do with it, and I'll just talk you through it, because like we talked about BTC, and I posted this the other day, is that I just use it on like a daily or 3-day, maybe even weekly sometimes time frame, just to kind of assess my bias and assess it objectively, and just be like, am I being ridiculous? And by that I mean it can be either, I've got a nice spot bag from down here, and we haven't tagged any form of EMAs, so why am I even thinking about taking profit? You know what I mean? Like, why am I trying to aggressively take profit? Like, assuming this is a swing trade and not a 1-minute scalp, right? I've built up a nice BTC spot position in here, expecting the range to break out. And why up here am I thinking, right, I'm just going to randomly take profit? I've not lost anything. There's been literally no change in market structure. There's just constant demand flooding in. Maybe over here, you start thinking, actually, well, if we sweep this low, then I'm out, and that's a nice trade from here to here. But trying to keep me in the trades is more how I use EMAs, and to assess if I should be switching my bias on a high time frame basis. So when we were up here, I think I was on stream with Jim and Magus, and I took a little long off the sell-off at 30. Let's go into the time frames. I can vaguely remember what happened. I'm just gonna turn the music down for me a little bit. Smash that like button, lads. Yeah, cheers. If you don't mind, like, it's kind of no skin off your nose, but I don't know. It probably does something for me. Maybe it gives me like $1 million or something. I don't know. I think it just bumps the stream up slightly. Was after the big pot? Yeah, it was down here, wasn't it? I think longed in here somewhere. Christ. Excuse my French. Yeah, it was up here, because we were on stream at this point. I think it was in there. I basically closed out for break even. Was it in this? No, because we didn't stay on that long. I think I took another one up here, and I ended up shorting down here somewhere in this breakout on Friday, and just piling into a short down here. But after this, after losing this, and then after losing a couple of trades on some alt rotations, which is usually my bread and butter, I was like, well, let's just load up our friend and just see like really what's happened, because I think I even said it on stream that like this is my bread and butter like shorting setup, and I just didn't want to take it, which looking back is a little bit ridiculous, but it is. The reason I didn't want to take it is because this was the kind of second sweep. So usually parabolic move into a range formation, sweep the high, come back in, and like that failed deviation there is usually a nice short to the range lows at least, and then you either take some profit off there or you see how it reacts, and if it has any form of bounce, fuck it off, just cut, done. If it actually just starts moving and cascading, you want it to see like sweep all these down here. So as if the market is some nice efficient beast. But this, that was kind of a very, obviously it was all around the ETF approval, yada yada yada, very high volume, high interest breakout. This move up here in terms of the consolidation, this range, we swept it, and then the third sweep, I thought that was going to be a continuation play. It was not. Obviously, we sold off quite dramatically, and that. We got my times wrong again, aren't I? But whatever. Oh, we're on the 4 hour. Yeah, that kind of just made me want to reassess my bias. And then when you go to the daily and you go, well, actually, we're starting to cross over, and this is it's a 12, 25 by default, but you can change it to wherever you want to be. And then that consolidated EMA is a 25. But again, change it to whatever the fuck you want, right? There's no magic EMA number. People try and convince you that this is the magic EMA number and yada yada yada. Like, it's a combination of price and time, and you can fit any fucking EMA that you want to fit whatever bullshit story you want to make, right? So it's more about like how relevant is it to your asset class, and you can customize them to the asset specifically and see how it tends to behave. But yeah, I prefer just default, and obviously you can have the two, and the distance between them is actually Awesome Oscillator, in case you didn't know that. So, but that's 531, I think it is. So this distance in here is essentially that, but it's a 531 EMA. So yeah, there you go. A little bit of an indicator rant. But this just kind of told me that, fuck, we've had these crosses before. It's probably time to be a little bit less aggressive in terms of, every time we've had them, since we actually broke out of the range down here, we've pulled back pretty reasonably, pulled back very reasonably, and as we're further up the trend, we kind of expect that pullback to be a little bit more brutal and a little bit more savage, which is why I'm targeting that kind of 33 area. So that's what Awesome Oscillator is. Throw away, my friend. To be honest, I thought Kraken was the most solid with GBP ramp, but I guess you can't really say. I use Kraken to cash out, so I cash out using Kraken. But I don't use it to hold any bags. I trade in small amounts. Do you think it's best not to trade until this dip is over? Because I trade small coins. What do you mean by small coins? Do you mean you trade with a small amount of money, or you trade low caps? You trade low caps like 100k market cap stuff. Because I think if you're doing that kind of stuff, like, your risk is almost always 100% per trade, because you'll ape into some low cap shitcoin, and it's either going to 10x, or it's going to do pretty much fuck all at zero liquidity, or just run straight to zero or get rugged. So, I don't know, I think you'll probably find more success in a regime where, it's higher risk on. But if you are buying decent-ish projects with potential from known devs or teams that you've talked to, or docs teams, etc., then sure, why not? Like, the best time to buy some things like that are when other people don't want to buy them, rather than when everyone is piling in on them. And $100 in the right little shitcoin can really pop. Which altcoin am I focusing on? Charlie, recommend me some altcoins to invest in. The thing is, with like blind investing into stuff, like right at this moment in time in the market, we've had quite a few runs and moves. Like, it's difficult to say, go and invest in these. And pretty much half the things that I want to be invested in, I'm just going to be blunt. I get some decent deals on them. I get to invest in private sales, which I always disclose, and I can get access to some seed rounds and all that kind of stuff sometimes, which makes it far more attractive to me, because you fundamentally get good, usually, terms. But if you said to me, what are you going to go and buy spot on the market right now, I'd say, given that I'm short and I'm expecting a test of like 33k on BTC, I don't really want to be punting money on spot altcoins at this moment. You seed crypto projects? Yeah. Look, sorry, not sorry. People always focus on the ones that do well, and I get it, right? I completely get it. I completely get why people are a bit like, it's not fair. You're right, it's kind of not. But you do get rugged. You do get teams changing things. You get your terms changed. You get your agreements changed. You get all sorts of stuff. I've had teams. Oh, we sent the money to FTX. FTX went under, and now we've got no money, and we're not going to do the token. So, people do focus on the positives. They also don't focus on the fact that most of the seed investments or private sale investments you do are locked over a 6 to 12 month period. So if you want to go on the market and buy something right now, you can. And then you can sell it again in 5 minutes if you fucking don't like it. But with all that kind of stuff, it's pretty much locked for a period. Not that I'm complaining. I'm just trying to give, a little bit of the other side of the fence, really. So yeah, when we, or if rather, we get down to kind of 32, 33, there are plenty of odds like wow. Doesn't it take a lot of money to fund projects and startups? Yeah, it does, but I'm not putting in the entire amount. And they won't give one person like huge tickets anyway. Angel investor, I suppose so. But it's obviously very different. They tend to get between 10, 50, 100 KOLs to put in, anywhere between like $1,000 and $25,000. So yeah, it's not like you're just chucking in $500,000 and going, there you go, boys, crack on with it. Let me know when I can have some tokens. What are my feelings on Tenet? I haven't actually looked at Tenet for a little while. I mean, it had a good day the other day, didn't it? I was looking at it the other day. I mean, again, it's just not particularly strong. Like, I thought it was gonna, when it reclaimed this, I thought it was gonna hold it. But it's pretty, like, weak at the moment. Like, if you were looking for a fresh position, then it would just be that simple, like, range reclaim that we talked about in terms of the lows down here. And just that. Yeah, it's been reasonably weak. $1K to $25K can be done, man, but $100K can't be done. What do you mean? Well, like $100K profit for you? I don't kind of understand the point. Sorry for being late, Sty. Just stopped my van. Oh my god. Do you have a paid group? Yes, I do. I have the Paragon group with Magus. We have, because I've documented it, I literally wrote up all of our educational videos in terms of this is what they do, this is what you, this is the kind of learning objective of it. And yeah, we've got like, I don't know, 200-300 videos. So I think we're gonna try and build something from that, because it's quite a repository, and that's not even all the streams that we've done for the last 2 years. And the interviews with traders and stuff like that. There's so much content in there. Investing in a project or startup on YouTube? What? No, just investing like generally. I mean, if that's what you want to do, then kind of you need to network and stuff, and really put the time into meeting people in the community. Yeah. Given my high time frame position, like I think that if we get that pullback on BTC, like I am hoping for, then there's going to be some really juicy odds on the table down here. But Charlie, what if you're wrong? Well, that's fine. There are some decent setups at the moment in terms of like LDO. If you want something just with a like very simple levels. To buy something at with a pretty simple stop, even if it does this, like that is pretty much as clean as mustard as you in terms of like a high time frame bias. Like that's the best entry you're gonna get if this is bullish. Because if you look at structure like from a daily time frame perspective, it's been basically up. Okay, there it changes, and then here it's up. But like very high time frame. So what was it's pretty much this. I'm sure that's some form of bullshit wave pattern. If you feed some content about Renko, I can teach you Renko in 30 seconds. Probably take longer for the chart to load than Renko. Let me find a Renko chart. I haven't used it in a long time because it repaints. So what Renko is, there's two types, ATR and traditional. So ATR is just taking the average true range of what's happened in the last 14 periods in this case. Traditional, on the other hand, is based off a value. That value you can input and you can do manually. Most people do current price divided by like 100, so you do like 690. Obviously I've got something on my brain, like 391 or something like that. And what it does is, as you can see, it just paints a brick for every $391 move to the upside or the downside. And what this does is it essentially takes out the noise and the chop of this price action. So let's pretend that we had price action like this, right? And let's pretend that this move was $391 exactly. Instead of time across there, all you would have is one brick, and that's it, one brick. Done. And depending on like where it came from and where it went to in terms of open, close, etc. If it goes up, then it's a green brick in this case, i.e. up. And if it was going down, it would be a red brick. And you'll notice down here, like the time between stuff is really, really weird. So like it looks like we've had a really short April to May, we've had a really long May to July, etc, etc. So that's all Renko does, is it just takes the noise out. And it's quite good for high time frame bias kind of testing and being objective. Like if you look at this, we have very obviously had a strong uptrend, which you don't need this chart to look at, right? You don't need it at all. But it can be good for like weekly divergences in terms of like across these highs, like if there was something there, like you'd be able to see it. Like that's obviously a shit drawing. That's entirely my fault. But you can see things like that, like weekly divergences off high time frame Renko charts. Now for Bitcoin, traditional is probably better because you can specify the amount, and for altcoins I would suggest ATR 14 is good enough, because obviously every altcoin is a different price. If I've got a 390 traditional on Renko here and I go to Matic, it's going to cry at me because $390 of a $0.7 coin, it doesn't really work, does it? Whereas if I go ATR, and it will change based on the time frame, because obviously in a 12-hour or 2-hour time frame, you've got 14 of the last candles are going to be, there's going to be more candles in this time period. But again, it just makes drawing levels a lot clearer, typically, and seeing like areas of difficulty. I used to really like it, really like Renko. Still like it as a principle. I think you need Sierra charts for it to not repaint. So there you go. Hush, 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 hush. Just for you. Because you asked. So nicely. What percent drop do you think alts could do if Bitcoin goes to 33k? That's one of those like eternal guesses, right? The reality is it depends how it gets there. Like if it does this, if Bitcoin does this and then it ranges, and then we basically get another alt run and we get a nice like load of rotations, and then Bitcoin breaks the range down here and goes, not like that, it goes down here and kind of takes perfectly into my take profits and then runs, like there's a chance that alts basically in the interim pull back a little bit, run really hard, pull back to basically where they were, so they're flat. Like that can happen. I'm not saying that it can't, but what I'm trying to say is that I don't want to be positioned to the short side whilst on Bitcoin whilst bidding a fuck ton of alts for basically the next leg up. I think there's a little bit more pain to be had, And I'm quite happy to be wrong on that, because if I am wrong on that, then I see that on this, and assuming I'm not an idiot and AFK at like the best trading time like I did today, oh, Manta's running, then, you know, I'll be catching low time frame rotations. But since you asked about Manta, we'll go on to Manta next. But hopefully that makes sense, yeah? Hopefully you're with me in my thought process, and hopefully the Renko chat makes sense. Estimated time frame for Bitcoin going to 33k? I don't know. I don't know. Like, how do I put it? I'm not trying to be like a savant of crypto, and I'm not trying to be a capo and do fucking like things like this, right? Be like, oh yeah, perfect, just as planned. The market's unlikely to just move in a straight line in any fucking way that we go, even though it kind of did there, but we'll ignore that for the purposes of my own personal bias. Like, this could easily be a low. So what I need to do, more than anything, is evaluate kind of where I'm wrong. And for me, the big area that I'm wrong, I appreciate I'm fucking chatting this shit on Kraken, is like literally a range reclaim. So if we reclaim this range with some form of strength and conviction, then, you know, I probably have to close my shot, or at least buy some spot and effectively hedge. Especially if we get risk on again with Spaghetti. I'm going to close Renko because I think we're done with it. But that's where I'm wrong. That's where I'm wrong on this being like a big leg down in the market and not just a correction for whatever like ETF narrative we pumped into this. Not that I'm trading off like that narrative and bullshit, but it's pretty common to see, you know, decent pullbacks after the kind of news that has been anticipated hits the market. Does that make sense? So I'm basically wrong here, and that's when I need to really examine my bias. Look at the div on TRB 1 hour range. Ooh, TRB. I said I'd look at Manta first. Yeah, that is a nice, to be fair, that is a nice, this is where I kind of, when a coin is like this, and it's super high beta, and it's new and shiny, which is a fucking terrible terminology, but like, would I bet on this breaking up? Yeah, I would, to be honest. And if you were long from the lows, like you said, where did you say you were long from? Long from 2-3. Oh, maybe it's not as good an entry. Oh no, it is. That's a good entry. Yeah. I don't want to say anything because it's one of those like not financial advice things. Obviously, nothing I say in the stream constitutes as financial advice. Educational purposes only. Please don't sue me. I'm too pretty for prison. But when you are long the highest beta altcoin, and it's a new and shiny one, and it's like reclaimed a previous range, and yeah, I'm usually quite aggressive with those. But obviously, the regime now compared to 3 weeks ago is a little bit different. But yeah, that is a nice entry for a new and shiny coin that is likely to get some attention. And that's what it's all about, right? Attention. We'll look at TRB and then we'll go on to your Turb. Well done. Yeah, that's a bit janky. It's not really a div, my friend. You're on about the hourly, because that's... You said 1 hour, yeah? Yeah, TRB is such a shit house to trade, to be honest. I think DWF have had their fun here, but fuck me, if you'd have told me TRB was going to $550 like a year ago, I'd have called you a fucking crackhead. Absolute crackhead. Hello, Odin. Which indicator is on the right side? It's VRVP. Visible range volume profile. And all I use that for, just kind of, before you think it's some sort of secret juju, is really just to help me draw my meme lines and just go like, where is price spending most of its, not time necessarily because that's TPO, but you know, where is the volume being transacted? And once it breaks from like the range or value, you know, is there a trade there? And where's my invalidation? So you're using the MFI indicator? No, I'm not using MFI, mate. That's money flow index, isn't it? Yeah, I haven't used that. That's RSI. That is. So now I'm afraid I do not have any source to give you with regards to a money flow indicator. But I have looked at it, like pretty much every indicator. I went through a phase when I started like trading of, well, I saw an Ichimoku cloud. Okay, right, let's go Ichimoku. I saw black and white price action. Black and white price action it is. I saw a Renko chart. Renko it is. You know, I think everyone probably goes through that phase of like what that was a good signal, wasn't it? Lovely. Look at that for 100% win rate. Doesn't take you to sell it, but 100% win rate indicator. $500,000. Thanks. Yeah, everyone goes through a phase of trying every indicator, and it's fucking useless. You only need one or two, like literally. That's it. And well, I think you only need one or two. I only need one or two. The best thing is, you know, trying not to be a jack of all trades and trying to just understand and master one. Like some people trade off EMAs and they do an absolutely incredible job because they know them and they know, you know, how to trade off them because they've spent the time, they've back tested them, they've spent, you know, hours and hours just perfecting it. Some people trade off pure price action, some people trade off order flow, some people just trade off sheer dumb luck. I don't know. RSI, yeah, I'm basically RSI, volume by proxy in terms of, like, I'll be watching what goes on the altcoin that I'm trading in terms of, like, on the 1 minute chart. And when I see stuff like, let's take an example. When I see stuff like real high volume peaks, you know, at highs, that start like breaking trend, like that's probably, you know, especially if there's like resistance up here, like a high time frame resistance that we've mapped out, or it's like here or something, and it's quite close, then, you know, that's when I might start thinking, okay, well, I've ridden this up, I'll take some off my, you know, intraday position. Yeah, start drawing some ranges. Again, you see this high volume breakout, you see it failing, you see it coming back into the range. Like that is kind of like, yeah, not great. Maybe I take some off, maybe I hedge some. Depends how big my position is, and it depends how the high time frame chart is kind of set out, and what my entry is, and what my thesis for my entry was. Do I want? I'll give you an example, and we talked about this on stream a couple of weeks ago, and I did this like live as to how to get an entry using spaghetti. It was actually a really good example of using spaghetti and clearly I was very pussy in my targets. You can barely hear. I think that might be you, mate. I think everyone else can hear. We literally got an entry. What was it? Yeah, down here in terms of that run. And the thought process was, well, if you start looking at this hourly, there's so much support down here, and that strength on what has basically been a down-only chart could lead to a pretty reasonable breakout. So it's reasonable to think that the market goes like that, down only, consolidates, and then has a nice leg up. Obviously, I was very unambitious, and with my targets, we talked about how we treat kind of each level and flipping those levels, etc., and following the trend essentially. But yeah, I didn't end up actually taking this, but it was a nice example. And obviously we're back down at this level here, but that was a very high beta move. JTO was like super in play after that one little rotation. I used the paralysis by analysis indicator suite. Nice. Why are you messing around with the chart like that? Sorry, man. But yeah, that's an example of where like the potential of the setup, given the market and given reasonably new coin, etc., it like adds some weight to your trade, in my opinion. And it adds some narrative, and it adds, as soon as it starts moving, there's probably quite a lot of underwater bag holders who are going to start chanting about it, and it was very good on relative strength at that point in time, and it got a really nice rotation as a result. Again, probably a little lesson for me in terms of my unambitious targets, but yeah, in the context of Manta, going back to Manta, are you thinking that this can break up and actually break out of this range that it's been in since it launched? In which case, that's a pretty reasonable entry. But do what the fuck you like, not financial advice, etc., etc. I kind of don't want to, if you're sat here on 100x leverage, you caught basically the bottom for you, and you're going to go broke and be in my DMs begging for a refund. If it does something like this, bosh, can you hold through that? Don't know. If it comes back to your entry, what are you going to do? If it comes down to here and just starts plowing down, are you going to close and then kick yourself for not closing up here? Don't know. Does Spaghetti update automatically with the high beta coins? No, it does not. It's manual. So I pick coins based on a number of factors. Who else likes to look at other traders lurking in the chat by pressing add? Like the video if you do. Let's see if we've got a load of lurkers here. I don't know how to see the number of likes. 28 likes. Oh, that's very kind. 53 people watching on YouTube anyway. We've got some on Twitch as well. So I've got both. I can't even see who's in the chat. Surely I can see the chat. It's my fucking chat. I can see people who are participating, but that's it. That's weird, man. I feel like I'm being voyeured. Do you know what I mean? I feel like people are just quietly watching. Yeah, I'll do like 5-10 more minutes and probably kick it for the night, because I kind of missed the whole vol today. But I wanted to stream. I wanted to kind of give people a little bit of hope. And whilst I shitpost a lot on Twitter, for me personally, I don't think it's the end of the big bull run. I don't think it's all going to go to zero. I think we're still in an uptrend. I think it's a healthy pullback. Are these the lies that I tell myself before I go to sleep? Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't worry, Charlie. Your investments are with good companies. They'll come back. No. I don't think it's... Unless you were sure up here from the swing failure of this range, then I'm not going to be looking for aggressive shorts. That's not my trading style anyway. But yeah, I think if we get a pullback, it's going to be one that you want to bid, and you want to be just marking out levels of where you want to bid shit, right? Simple as that. Everyone always wants a fucking dip to buy and to get on for the next leg until the dip fucking comes. That's the God's honest truth. People would rather buy something that's up 25% than take the risk. What I try and do is not buy it when it's up 25%, but I do try and buy it when it's starting to trend up, usually. It's in your coin position? I don't have a coin position, man. I don't trade stonks. Well, technically, I do have some coin shares on FTX. Technically speaking. I mean, it's pretty, like, again, huge range, huge breakout, come retest the range, kind of see what happens. Like, if you want to get... Yeah, so I'm not going to add because I'm not in anything. But, you know, if you start seeing signs of like low time frame divergences down here, front running this level, then dare I say it, could be good for a run. No real divergence, nothing for me to action down here. Only for 1 hour, BlackRock is seeding. Am I too bearish to expect 26, 27k? Like, let's be honest, right? All of our guesses are just bullshit. They're just us putting our finger in the air and pulling something out of our assholes and going, this is why. Yeah, it's because I can draw a line here. Yeah, that's why I think it'll go there. And that's why I think it will front run this level. You know, it's all kind of bullshit to a point. Don't know. All I can do is I can make plans that if price does this, this is what I'm going to do. And that's what I'll do. And then when it does that, instead of shitting myself, I'll go, oh, great. This is an opportunity for me to buy. Lovely. I can see that we've basically taken out every participant who's been long in this whole fucking time. Now let's send it back because we've had a really decent reaction from this area. You know, essentially like a weekly pivot. We've bounced hard. And even if we just get some shitty run, you know, it will be enough to make a decent rotation out of altcoins. So I'm not trying to like slag off, you know, you think it's 26, 27, you know, 20, 24, 12, you know, Capo was right, who the fuck knows, right? I don't know. All I can do is say, yeah, based on this sell-off, and based on the fact that we've broken down from the range, I kind of expect it to keep going. I don't think we get that nice, easy, clean retest. Maybe we do. And that's where I have to evaluate my short bias around that range low. But if we do go down, you know, where are we kind of looking at? Like basically these three levels, right? And we're close to that one already. We're kind of close to this, you know, resistance, turn support. Like, sorry, I feel like I need to draw them like that. Be a little bit more technically correct. But I just can't see, you know. I don't think we're at the panic stage yet. And I think that would be like pure psychological panic. I don't think it's alpha. I think it's just, you know, it's my view on the market. And other people talk so, how do I put it? In my view, obnoxiously. But they speak with very high conviction on the future. And there was a time where I did the same. And, you know, I would have unobjectively told you that Bitcoin is going to 100k. And, you know, throughout 2018 to 2021, you know, I was pretty convinced that was going to happen. I was super bullish on crypto. I literally tried to get all my friends back into crypto before, you know, I showed them SHIB at like 10k market cap or something stupid. I tried to convince them all get back involved, but none of them did. Whereas now, I'd probably say to people, it's good for like a 2 to 3x if you want to be a passive investor at the right time. You know, if you want to go balls deep, and then this is to like, you know, my friends who are, I don't know, teachers or something like that, right? Not people who want to give up their evenings and listen to people like me on streams and try and trade. Like, this is just people who I've got a spare 500-600 quid a month and want to get some reasonable returns from it, right? Not big degenerates. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, that's my trade plans. That's kind of my thought processes. As I've been through, had some nice little movers and shakers today. See what happens. I'll be following your Manta trade and living vicariously through your success. Or failure, as it may be. See what you do. Always nice to watch other people win. Can't give up my evening because I don't have one. You tell them to buy donk then? Got it. Yeah. I just unload the absolute dog shit bags on friends and family. That's what they're there for. If anyone tells you that they're there for like emotional or relationship stuff, exit liquidity. That's it. You've been lied to. But yeah, has anyone got any questions? Any tidbits or something? Because I will I'll dial out otherwise. Oh no, cheers Kev, thank you for tuning in guys. I do appreciate it, and I see, same faces. I like it when people routinely turn up and interact with my tweets. Someone has requested a Savam, so I will talk about it, because I did invest in it, and it did do very well. So, this is fucking disgusting shit. That's even more disgusting. Nearly bedtime, boys. Thanks for the stream. You're more than welcome, Smokes. Person talk was waving. For me, like, I am invested in this. You've probably seen me talk about it a lot on the timeline. Yes, I've invested in it. For me, like, the big thing about all of this stuff is, like, I do want to just say something actually while we're talking about investments and stuff. I invest in maybe 1 out of 30, 1 out of 50 things that I get offered, because I don't want to talk about dog shit. If I will get things wrong, right? So I've invested in things that have not done well. I've invested in things that have done very well, and I've invested in things that have just been meh. But yeah, this was one that obviously got a little bit of controversy on crypto Twitter. And yeah, I mean, it's the whole kind of BRC20 narrative I still think is in play. I think with the Bitcoin halving and stuff, it's got a lot of bullish potential. How would I go about buying a bag if I wanted one? To be honest with you, the range low is kind of down here, despite the fact that it's only been out for a couple of days, was probably the play. I don't like buying low caps that have done 30% on the day. That's just me personally. If you want to just do the standard TA approach of flip that and buy some, great. I like buying dips, not rips personally. But yeah, I do think this one runs. It's 120 mil market cap. The team behind it are massive, and it's up 30% on a day when the market is pretty much done fuck all. What's my biggest return in percent? That is a good question. I think in terms of like real hard cash, as in like the combination of, it wasn't $100, for example. It was Rune, and that was around 330x, I think. But that was like over a couple of years, and I wasn't an investor or anything. I just bought off the market on some dog shit fucking exchange. So yeah. You know, I invested in this because I think it'll do well. It's done a lot better than I thought it would already in terms of like the initial launch. You know, everyone was like, oh, influencers are dumping. Like, if you fucking dumped down here at $1, it ran to 15. It ran to fucking $15 on the same day. So you just fucked yourself out of an 8x on the day. No, sorry for being nosy. No, it's fine, mate. My maths teacher said you can't exceed 100% of anything. Tell that to my fucking accountant and HMRC. That would be nice. I'll go and get a tax rebate then, shall I? No. Be nosy all you want, mate. Ask questions. Like, I'll answer them. If I don't want to answer them, I won't. But, you know, I like to think that I operate with a lot of transparency. And I'm not going to forego investing just because some people think that it's not fair. It's not fair. Work harder. Do you think the Bitcoin S&P correlation days are mostly over? To be fair, it's not something I've seen much on the timeline, and it's also not something I've been particularly aware of myself. I've been trying to ignore TradFi, to be honest. I don't trade TradFi for good reason, evidently, because I'd get my ass handed to me. Yeah, strong dollar, weak crypto. Strong TradFi. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen too much of it, to be honest. This is that classic parabolic run lower high, though, isn't it? Look at that. Ugh. Actually, no, Shay. I lied to you. My biggest return in percent is like 120,000%. No, it's not even that, is it? It's more than that. What is it? It's 12 million %, technically. Let's see if I can find the tweet. Oh, there's too much. Basically, bought a Beeple for $1 and sold it for like well over $100,000. So it was like a 100,000x technically, but obviously $1 is a very small amount to risk. So yeah, that's crazy. $35x on Yoto a few weeks back. Christ, that's nice. I mean, I kind of, respect it more off, like in these conditions, because 2020, 2021 was wild, absolutely wild. When trading, do you base it off position size or leverage and percentage, i.e. 10% or 10x? So when trading, I base it off the actual position size, as in not the margin. So let's use an example. Let's say my trading size is usually $10,000, right? What I will do is I'll put $1,000 on the exchange, use 10x leverage to up my $1,000 to $10,000, and I will take that $10,000 position, and then it's not about my leveraged percentage, because if I'm risking 1%, that's very different. I'm not risking 1% on 10x leverage, which will, sorry. Sorry, my friend's just messaged me. Yeah, so I'm basing it off the position size of my trade. Sorry, I think I butchered that. Does that make sense? So if I trade with 10k position sizes and my risk is 1%, then I'm going to do it until I lose $100. When you calculate your percent return and you get to the nth power, you made it. Yeah. I mean, those times were wild. And like nobody, I didn't sit there and like tell everyone with absolute conviction that this is going to be fucking incredible. Way. Because I hope I don't ever really shill like that. Like, I tweet about things I'm interested in, say I think it looks good. I try not to say it's going to be the future of finance, because it's unlikely that anything is going to be in particular. But there are some bets that I have good conviction on, but I don't have anything that is like absolutely concrete. And the market's so volatile anyway that most people. I had someone give me shit about Inspect every single fucking day. Talk about a coin, and so what about Inspect, bro? What about Inspect? It's like, mate, just fucking sell your position, I beg. Like, okay, it had a really nice, basically it was this. I've obviously posted it since I invested in it. Yes, I'm an investor, blah blah blah. Again, had a really nice kind of run up in terms of, look, you had a pretty pivotal level, again, rejection, support, like flip it, and then actually, okay, maybe not perfect in terms of interaction, but you get the basics, right? And then a run, and like when it was up here, I fucking DM'd him and said, sell it, just please sell it, because there's no way you can have bought anywhere in all of this and be at a loss. Like, that's it, you're in profit now, and obviously it's fucking sold off since. And that's why I try not to like ram it down people's throats. I think it's a good investment. I think it's a good project. A lot of my friends are trying to get me in this. Like, this is one that I passed on, by the way. Passed on this. I think it was an OTC deal maybe, or something like that. We'll do the classic thing of lows to highs, shall we? Cheeky 20x. How long did it take you to be profitable? If you were to give yourself advice on what would you do when you started, what would you tell yourself? My problems are different to everyone else's, and yours will be different to everyone else's, I imagine. They'll be like the same sort of common set of problems that, like, if you took a sample of 1,000 people, you could, pin it down to individual things and be like, well, you're probably going to be one of these 30 things. One of my biggest weaknesses has always been taking risk. I don't just mean like trading and participating in the markets and all that kind of stuff, but sizing up when you do have that massive high conviction play. And I did it recently on Bonk. I did it recently. What was it? Here, I think it was. Maybe it was. No, it was this low time frame. I'm going to go back to it because it was very, very aggressive, and it was this rotation here, and it was basically, I think this is on Binance, I think on Bybit there was a wick up here, and basically I went fucking hard into this. What was it then? Oh yeah, it was, because I don't know, it was basically the same fucking price action of strong run up, create a range, big sell off, and then move up, and then basically I was piling in risk. I piled in a ton, like basically pre-breakout, like up here, and then I put a load of sales up here, and like it was a decently sized position for that next rotation on the basis of, you know, however many failed attempts. The Bybit chart looks a bit different, but yeah, like taking on huge amounts of risk, not like stupid amounts, not like I, you know, need to sell the house or anything like that, but just taking the upper end of the risk parameters that I set myself and occasionally breaking them. Again, you know, I'm not risking more than like 3 to 5% of my portfolio, or sorry, my trading balance, not my portfolio at all, at any point. But particularly when you've got a really tight invalidation and you can go a little bit more ham, you know, in super risk on conditions. Like, you know, when you're targeting stuff like this, you had that confluence of some of my like last clips were in this. You know, you can go hard, and that's what I struggled with. Been a cheater for a year or so now isn't the time to buy. Yeah, exactly. So I think my advice would be, don't be afraid to risk a little bit more. How long did it take me to be profitable? I mean, I was instantly profitable because I started in 2017 and it was a fucking up only rage and bull market. But no, from a trading perspective, it wasn't too long because I could systematically do things, but that was like trading someone else's system. And that was fine, but I was catching like low time frame rotations on Bitcoin, and it was fucking boring, to be honest with you. You know, it was making pretty small amounts a day, reasonably consistently, but it was not fun. You spent half the day like waiting for signals, which is what I do now, but you know, it's a little bit more dynamic in terms of like there's stuff to look at. This is a bit prettier. But yeah, I think trying to set a time limit on being profitable, unless you've obviously like quit your job and you've got 2 years of living expenses to trade with, etc., like that's a good time to have that. But sure, I was looking at ammo earlier actually, because they've just like, they're basically a launch price. I need to reach out to the team and just kind of see what they're doing. Again, I invested in this, but I know Drew, the guy who runs it. He's a nice guy. He collects a lot of art. Yeah. And that's what I mean, cut someone new lows. Like, at least you've got a trade plan for it, right? Like, you're basically saying that this is a deviation of that, and that you want it to kind of go up and go, which makes sense. Yeah, I might reach out to the team and see what's kind of going on. Award. What? I'm gonna get fucking zacked for going into this, aren't I? There's no volume, bro. Like that. Oh, fuck me, okay. I'm bridging over to Solana, mate. Fucking hell. I'm gonna ape into some Solana shitcoins. Fuck me. Nice. Cool. Well, my voice is going now, everybody. So I really appreciate being here, but it's starting to hurt, so I'm gonna have to clock off. Bullish on PS1 Hagrid. So I will love you and leave you all. Thank you for joining the stream. I appreciate your love and support as always. If you are not already subbed, sub to the channel, do all that kind of stuff. Get some likes on it. All the stuff to have to show. Oh yes, Bybit Reflink. If you are using my Bybit Reflink, make sure you fill in the form for the trading competition, and there's another form that I've got as well, which is for like indicator access and stuff like that. And I'm probably going to do some giveaways, like give away a Paragon membership and stuff like that when people are actually like have signed up to that. I'll think of some other stuff, maybe some Charlie merch or something. Maybe I really sell out and go full influencer. Who knows? Yeah, thank you all for being here. I will love you and leave you. I will play my outro, and then the stream will die. Oh, that's not my outro. I will play this anyway, because this is probably a good outro. Right, au revoir. Oh, SC's turned up. I was just signing off. Look, SC, we're talking about shitcoins. This isn't my shitcoin, by the way. This was a chart request. Yeah, deviation. Deviation at the highs. Bosh, deviation, bruv. Actually, I might have that. Hang on. Let's turn this off. I wish I could do this automatically. Oh, it's too low. Hang on. Might blow your ears off.
Deviation, bruv.
Oh, I'd love to have SC on the stream. I wish it said that when he joined YouTube. But yeah, more than welcome anytime, my man. But yes, thank you all for being here. I will love you and leave you, and I will leave you with this wonderful tune. Au revoir.
Okay. I need the price to go up. I can't take this anymore. Every day I'm checking the price and it's dipping. Every day I check the price, bad price. I can't take this anymore, man. I have overinvested by a lot. It is what it is, but I need the price to go up. Can devs do something?
He's BTC Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.